of them has lived up to anything that they gave up for him.
Johnson, this time off the left side, breaks the first wall of containment, gets up to the 39-yard line. I think people forget about Trent Green. When he became a starter in Washington, was only there 1 year in that capacity, threw for 3,400 yards, and Philip Buchanan is the injured player. Green then went to St. Louis and had an unbelievable preseason with an off-the-charts quarterback rating before he devastated a knee, and then it was all Kurt Warner leading that team to the Super Bowl. This guy has been a quality quarterback for a long time.
Some say that by 2020, we'll have used up half the world's oil. Some say we already have. Making the other half last longer will take innovation, conservation, and collaboration. Will you join us?
Telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40. Mazda, always the soul of a sports car. Chase, now you can earn double rewards on everyday purchases. Love the double from Chase. And Jordan, be more.
George Ranch Historical Park, established in 1824. It's a 23,000-acre working ranch. You ever want to go to a dude ranch?
No,
Dudes?
dude. No, dude.
Dude?
No, dude.
I got one. I got my own dude ranch. I got my own cattle, my own horses.
Philip Buchanan gets whacked by his own man, Travis Johnson, number 75, their #1 draft choice. He's coming up to make the play. Larry Johnson's on the bottom. Number 75 is Travis Johnson. He hits him head-to-head, and then he bends him over. And that was his left leg that buckled. Look at this shot.
Kansas City second and inches. And Johnson will have a first down out to the 43-yard line.
I'm just really impressed with the way that Larry Johnson attacks the line of scrimmage. He attacks it hard, and then it seems like when he gets into the traffic, into the middle, he has the ability to make one plant and cut. You know, like in Denver, for example, Paulo, they tell the running backs behind the line of scrimmage, make your one plant and go. He makes that one plant when he's inside, in between the linebackers and on the second level.
Green with time, and it's intercepted on the tip. Picked off by Lewis Sanders. Only the third interception this year for the Texans. A 28-yard return.
Now, this ball should have been caught.
This one will go against Trent Green, but they ought to set up a new type of a category for interceptions that go against receivers, because this one goes right through Eddie Kennison's hands. Watch to the left part of your screen. Good play action. Kennison's coming in. Perfectly thrown ball. Bounces off his right shoulder, and Lewis Sanders winds up with it. Simple catch, easy catch, no catch.
Robert Smith was putting the pressure on right in Trent Green's face. And that's something that this Texans defense has not been able to do all year long. Forced turnovers.
It's their third interception this year.
And this happens to be the 10th game of the season. That's not good. Card, good protection. Underneath, Dominic Davis. Good hard run. Davis inside the 20.
The Texans had opportunities in the first half to create these kinds of turnovers, and they got away from them. Trent Green, play action fake up the middle. There's Earl, knocks it away. Now Greenwood has a shot at it, and then he throws it out, and Sanders almost had his first one. Now he gets one off the carom off of Eddie Kennison. They finally got one to go into their hands.
Spotted at the 19, 1st and 10. Carr short set and threw it right into the chest of Derrick Johnson, who saw the play coming, got up in the air, and the thing nearly hit him in the belt buckle.
Well, I'm going to tell you, he's got to quit looking at the guy he's throwing to.
Well, besides that, look at how low the ball comes out. You know, it comes out low, but not exceptionally low. I mean, guys have different release points. As long as it's out up around your head area, I was a three-quarter guy. I mean, I don't really have a problem with the way that he throws it. And sometimes you're going to get knocked down.
Well, at 5'8", you were a three-quarter guy.
Davis taken down at the 20. Well, when the defensive linemen are 6'7" or 6'8" and raise their arms, how hard and how tall the quarterback do you have to be to throw over that? You'd have to be about 9'4". You throw between guys.
That is the biggest, lamest thing I've heard. You throw around their helmets, you throw under their armpits, you throw through their arms. You want to get the ball out before they can time their jumps to be able to get it up. That's the biggest thing. That's why the set is so important, and throwing between the lanes of the offensive lineman and defensive lineman is important.
3rd and 11. Carr.
And that one was kicked.
Yes, it was. Down to the 10 goes Marcellus Rivers, the tight end. That is going to be apparently just shy of a first down.
You have to go for it. I mean, there isn't even a thought other than to go for it.
You know, he faked a Dominic Davis coming out of the backfield, and nobody covered him. Dominic Davis to his right, if he would have looked left and then right, he would have found him wide open, and he had a touchdown.
The yard marker is very close to the 9. There's about a half a yard to go. Now they've got Davis on a right wing with an empty backfield. Carr, Gaffney, and they've got a first down inside the 5.
That's a nice call, because what you're doing is you're using the athletic ability of David Carr to challenge the perimeter. Now, it's going to be very difficult for the defensive back, Sapp, to try and keep up with Gaffney.
Because Gaffney's at full speed when he comes across the backfield.
And Sapp's got a whole bunch of traffic to run through. Linebackers, safeties, everything else.
They are x-raying the left ankle of Philip Buchanan. We will give you more when we get it. 1st and goal from the 3. Davis, touchdown.
Well, that part was easy.
Solid drive. Nice play calling. Mixing it up well.
Dominic Davis with only his 2nd rushing touchdown this year.
Look at the blocking up front. He's not even touched. And I'll tell you, when you're down around the goal line and you got 5 yards to go and nobody touches you, that's pretty good blocking up front.
Carlos Hall, number 92, was so intent on getting to David Carr that Dominic Davis ran right by him.
Chris Brown for the point after. The drive only 37 yards in 6 plays, but it does get them their 2nd touchdown of the night. The first produced by the offense.
Hollywood has the Academy Awards. Now poker has the Royal Flush Awards, better known as the Flushies. 2004 was the year that the highlight culture invaded poker, raising the ante on post-hand celebrations. Greg Ramers may have been the biggest. Matthias Anderson, the loudest. There was one other performance, however, that Flushies could not ignore. With entrances so grand, reactions so spectacular, and perhaps the best line ever spoken after getting busted.
If there weren't luck involved, I guess I'd win every one.
Phil Hellmuth turned in a transcendent performance in 2004, earning him the Flushie for Performance of the Year.
End of interview.
And now another great moment on ESPN. The UEFA Champions League final, the top prize of European club football, has produced some of the most memorable games in history. In 2004, an unlikely pair of teams squared off. high-scoring Monaco and the Giant Killers Porter took the pitch for 90 minutes of unforgettable football. And in the end, it was Porter, the pride of Portugal, holding the European Cup high for the world to see. A celebration of sports memories from around the globe. Great moments on ESPN.
We hope you'll join us for a full night of football next Sunday on ESPN. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern. You'll see NFL prime time. Then on Sunday Night Football, the Saints go to the Meadowlands to take on Curtis Martin and the Jets. That starts at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Of course, the Saints have already been there once against the Giants earlier.
They have, but that was a home game for them.
Who are these people dancing?
Those are my grandsons. So on the left, that's Ian Patrick and Riley Paul.
Ian Patrick's a great name.
Ian Patrick Manzo.
Dante Hall on the return out to the 33. And we've got a little more pushing and shoving after the tackle. And 8:48 to go, third quarter. Back to Houston in a moment.
The road to the ultimate prize of European football continues with Match Day 5 of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN. Live Tuesday, Manchester United is in dire need of a victory, but they're at home at Old Trafford to take on Villarreal. Then it's off to Italy, where Juventus faces Club Rouge. We cap off the day with perfect 4-0 Arsenal against Thun. Then on Wednesday, Liverpool can stay on top of Group G when they take on Real Betis. And Anderlecht takes on the great club Chelsea. It's Match Day 5 of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN. When a
Back at Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas, where it's 31-14, middle of the third quarter.
They have a lot of food courts.
You would know.
Way to go, Waldo.
I do like it.
You could pull a Matt Lauer and say, where in the world is Joe Theismann? We just have to look where they're serving food. Johnson trying to get outside, and that defense energized. Babin makes the tackle. Dick Vermeil at 69 years old has the energy of somebody half his age, and he hasn't decided whether he's going to step aside at the end of this year or not. When they're winning, hey, it's a lot of fun. When they're losing, it is a terrible grind. But I like this guy, and I hope he sticks around. I think he's good for football.
Yeah, he is.
I worry about him, though. I just worry about him wearing himself out again.
If it's what he wants to do, I think it's terrific. Blitz coming. Green underneath. Kennison makes the catch on one knee and gets up and gets to the 43. Trent Green talked to us about his relationship with his head coach, Dick Vermeil.
He's been a blessing for me. Ever since I got to St. Louis, it's been a great relationship. You know, he's someone that truly cares about all of his players and coaches, and he wears it on his sleeve. And sometimes he takes criticism for that, but I think as players we really appreciate it. And you look at the different things I've gone through with him, whether it be you know, the knee injury in St. Louis or more recently the loss of my father. He's been very supportive.
And you know, I really enjoy the fact that he does show his emotion, because you know it's real.
Well, he could cry at a drop of a hat. I just asked him the other day when he walked in. I said, sit down, please.
But you know what? You really appreciate the man.
Yeah.
And then that's really what, and every player that's played, from whether they've been in Philadelphia, whether they've been in St. Louis or here, every guy says they really appreciate his genuineness. And he really is a father figure to so many of these guys.
1st and 10 for Kansas City at its own 45. Green wants a screen. Sanders, nice job defending it out there, and they have not been able to screen very well tonight.
I'll tell you right now that Lewis Sanders got an interception, should have had two, But you talk about a guy playing a screen and staying where he's supposed to be. Here comes Gonzalez, and look at the guy. He fights off the tackle on the outside and then makes the play.
And they had 3 blockers out in front of him. Don't forget, he's the guy that downed the ball deep as well on special teams. And Tony Gonzalez limps off to the sidelines after that tackle.
The 250-pound all-world tight end brought down by the 210-pound Lewis Sanders out of Maryland. Johnson. Robinson on the other side comes up to make a tough tackle along with Greenwood. Let's go to Susie.
Well, guys, the Texans' performance to start the second half, the interception, the touchdown, the 3-and-out, really reflecting the urgency presented by their coach, Dom Capers, at halftime. He talked about the first half, how sloppy it was, and he said to them, we will see which guys belong on this team.
And every once in a while, you've got to challenge guys, especially when things are going badly. Charlie Anderson is the injured Texan. He is a second-year linebacker out of Ole Miss. He's the backup to Antoine Peak on the weak side. We'll check on him when we come back.
When you speak of a club's special teams unit, you begin with a place kicker. He boots the ball off a tee from his team's own 30-yard line. The second player you mention is the returner. This is the player receiving the kick on the opposite end of the field. The returner's objective is to run the ball back across the goal line that the kicking team is defending. This is a rare feat to pull off, so establishing field position close to or beyond the 50-yard line is desired and creates a great advantage to his team's offensive unit. If the kick goes through the returning team's end zone or the returner takes a knee in the end zone, his offense receives the ball at their own 20-yard line. If a fair catch is called, the kicking team cannot touch the returner and the ball is downed where the catch is made. If it is kicked out of bounds, the receiving team gets the ball 30 yards from where it was kicked or where the ball went out of bounds, the more advantageous of the two. Once the ball has gone 10 yards or is touched by the receiving team, it's a free ball.
Charlie Anderson, the linebacker, getting attention of the training staff for the Texans on the sideline. Working on that right knee. Or the left knee, excuse me.
Big 3rd and 8 for the Texans.
Green with good protection.
What a nice job down there.
Excellent coverage on Kennison. And that's Jason Bell out of UCLA. And you're right, Joe. He was in perfect position.
Trent Green's going to hang this one up. They're going to challenge him downfield. Now he turns and runs. Look at him look back. Never, ever takes his eye off the ball. It is in perfect position.
And for the Kansas City Chiefs, Jared Allen is the new snapper for this team.
He's the defensive end. Part of the reason he was drafted, but just part, was the fact that he is a snapper. And a good one. Boy, that was perfect. Crowd wants a flag.
Well, they were blocked into him, so.
This crowd's hanging on every little break that they hope their Texans can get.
And Jared Allen says, not bad, huh?
The line of scrimmage is the imaginary line where the ball is placed before each play. Every player, 11 on each side, have to be behind their respective side of this line before each play. The teams are separated from each other by the length of the football and cannot encroach that space before the play begins. The play begins when the center for the offensive team snaps the ball, usually to the quarterback. The quarterback must be behind the line of scrimmage to legally complete a forward pass. While any offensive player can pass the ball from behind this line, no player can make a forward pass once they cross the line. At this moment, they are limited to running the ball or making a sideways or backwards pass known as a lateral. A lateral can be made anywhere and sometimes is made behind the line of scrimmage. Occasionally, the flea flicker is used when the quarterback pitches it to a running back, who then pitches it back to the quarterback, who then delivers a pass.
Nate Burleson and the Vikings. Visit Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. From historic Lambeau Field, Vikings-Packers. Live Monday on ESPN.
College basketball from Hawaii from the EA Sports Maui Invitational. First at 9 Eastern on ESPN. Hassan Adams in number 9 Arizona against Kansas. Then at 11:30 Eastern on ESPN. The Arkansas Razorbacks against the number 2 team in the country, the Huskies of Connecticut. The Maui Invitational, all part of Feast Week on ESPN and ESPN2. Texans ball starting from their own 24. Carr, short set, throws on the out, complete to Gaffney, covered by Warfield at the 31.
The one thing, it's really a contrast in this game. The one thing you see is the Texans throw the ball to their wide receivers all the time. The Kansas City Chiefs throw the ball to their tight ends a lot. The entire year, the Texans tight ends have caught 8 balls.
That's
Tony
between
Gonzalez,
3 of them.
Tony Gonzalez has that many in this game.
That's right. And you can understand one reason why the tight ends for the Texans don't have that many catches. They have to keep those guys in here to block. Dominic Davis across the 40 to the 43 for a first down. And that's really why Tony Gonzalez catches were down at the first half of this year, because they needed some more protection from their tight ends, and he couldn't get out in the patterns.
Joe, let's look at this offense of Houston. What has been the most successful thing we've watched in 2 3/4 of a quarter?
Running the football up the middle of the field.
Dominic Davis.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball to Dominic Davis. Dominic Davis has carried the ball 10 times for 47 yards. It doesn't seem like much, but that's mostly in the second quarter and this third quarter.
But somewhere you've got to take a shot. Somewhere you've got to take a shot down the field.
Well, it's hard to do when you're setting one guy down the field and you don't have time to throw.
And there's a marker down beyond the line of scrimmage.
Good chance where the flag is. It could be a beneficial flag to the Texans.
Illegal contact, 30, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Dwayne Washington, the 10-year veteran.
David Carr is trying to get the ball down the field. The plays haven't been called of the 24 attempts that he's made. Look at everything. 15 throws in the left flat, 5 in the right flat, only 2 plays over 15 yards. Now keep in mind, their longest completion this year is a 34-yarder. They just haven't tried.
Davis, not this time. Derek Johnson in on the stop. They stripped the ball, but after the whistle. Kansas City defense is an improved unit. A couple of years ago, this was a disaster. They brought back Gunther Cunningham. Didn't improve a whole lot last year, but it's a lot better now.
Well, they finally, I hate that expression. Well, hey, they finally bought into the defense. Hey, they finally learned the defense. The guy was a defensive coordinator before he became a head coach, and now he's back to where he belongs.
And an outstanding coordinator he has always been. Carr with a long signal count this time. 4-man rush. Plenty of time and throws to the sideline again. Warfield makes the tackle on Gaffney. But that's the kind of arm David Carr has.
I want to go back a little bit to Gunther Cunningham, because when I talked to him yesterday, he said he wanted to change the culture. He wanted to turn back the clock with this football team. This defense, and he's right, when the Chiefs, when he first coached there, the defense, they were feared. Derek Thomas and that group, everybody was afraid to play him. He wants to get that back. Told Carl Peterson, the president and GM, hey, I need some players. So they went and got Patrick Surtain, Kendrell Bell. They started adding speed to this defense.
And the linebackers are very fast. Carr, they come on a blitz. Carr picked it up, throws to Davis. A lot of room to run. Davis inside the 10, inside the 5. 33 yards.
This was a great pickup by David Carr. He read the blitz. Dominic Davis sneaks out, and he finds him. Watch how quick. 37 is Dominic Davis. Look at how quick this pass comes out. Nobody's covering Dominic Davis.
And Mark Bruner, number 87, who really plays the fullback, slides along, and makes a great block.
We were talking about Larry Johnson and his moves when he gets in the open field. Dominic Davis just showed you, hey, if he can do it, so can I.
First and goal for the Texans. We're going to a tight formation with the only 2 wideouts to the left and now a third to the right. Carr on the run. Throws back in the end zone. Gaffney couldn't hold it.
Another lost opportunity.
Benny Sapp was there, but Gaffney was open and Carr hit him.
I like the calls that Joe Pendry, their offensive coordinator, is making down around the goal line. He's letting David Carr use his legs, buy some time, stretch the defense out, run if you have the chance, and couldn't make the play. He just couldn't get his hands on it.
I love David Carr's decision, because had he run with the ball,
he got killed.
Oh, 3 guys would have nailed him.
Second and goal. Davis submarined by Derek Johnson and taken down near the line of scrimmage. This rookie out of Texas is pretty good.
Mike, they said about Derek Johnson, one thing about him is that he will make mistakes, but when he makes mistakes, he doesn't dare. He sees the hole. Derek Johnson, 56, gets in the hole. They said, but when he makes mistakes, he gets back to where he should have been and makes a play. It may be a couple or 3 yards down the field, but he always gets back to where he should have been.
He's learning. Rookies learn. Good things about young players that'll get advanced are they learn from their mistakes. Hey, David Carr on the move again, buying some time.
Carr into the end zone, and again intended for Gaffney, and again incomplete. Benny Sapp was right there, and terrific coverage that time.
And that was the same exact play they ran on 1st and 10. Now, the one thing David Carr said, the difference between Chris Palmer, their former offensive coordinator, and Joe Pendry, their present coordinator, Pendry will go back to plays if he thinks he has somebody open. That time on the first one, they felt like they had Gaffney open, came right back to it.
No, I'll tell you, Gaffney's looking for a flag, and forget about it. Well, Sapp was there. It was a great play by Sapp.
On 4th down, they're looking for the end zone here. I like this decision, and David Carr's got to use a timeout.
Play clock running down, and Dom Capers sprinting onto the field to call a timeout to save them the 5 yards.
The road to the ultimate prize of European football continues with Match Day 5 of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN. Live Tuesday, Manchester United is in dire need of a victory, but they're at home at Old Trafford to take on Villarreal. Then it's off to Italy, where Juventus faces Club Brugge. We cap off the day with perfect 4-0 Arsenal against Thun. Then on Wednesday, Liverpool can stay on top of Group G when they take on Real Betis. And Anderlecht takes on the great club Chelsea. It's Match Day 5 of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Agree with you.
Yeah.
31-14 with 46 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And the 3 of us are having an animated discussion. What would you do?
Well, they're going to do
4th and goal.
They're going to do the thing that we both agreed upon, and I always agree with Joe.
Just move over here by me.
Yeah, I'm moving over by Joe now. Kick the field goal.
Well, allow me to disagree. With this offense, I don't think you're going to get 2 more shots at touchdown. I think this has no chance.
I don't think so. They've had 2 chances this quarter. You kick the field goal here. You put yourself within 2 touchdowns of a tie. Your defense is playing well. This is the right decision.
Chris Brown, on for the field goal. And it's 31-17 with 42 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Let's go to Susie.
Well, guys, some big games in the NFL today. Battle of division leaders, Carolina, Chicago. First quarter, a Bears interception set this up. Kyle Orton to ex-Panther Muhsin Muhammad for the score. That's all the offense Chicago needed. Nathan Basher intercepts Jake Delhomme. Basher's 2nd pick of the day. Bears defense #1 in the NFL. They come up big, 13-3. Certainly more proof they are for real.
Boy, Susie, that's for sure. And the Bears now with a huge lead in the NFC North. The Vikings need to win tomorrow night to keep it at only 2 games. and the Panthers fall into a tie with the Buccaneers.
What a job Lovie Smith has done in a short time in Chicago. They've got a healthy Brian Urlacher. Nice job by their young quarterback, Kyle Orton, going in, talking about managing games, and the addition of Muhsin Muhammad. He did it in Carolina when they didn't have Steve Smith a year ago. Now all of a sudden he goes to Chicago, and he's become that same kind of an inspiration to that young football team.
Why is it that no one in the National Football League, in all of these shows that we have on the air, no one talks about the Chicago Bears? All they do,
I think it's coming.
Boy, you better get ready for them because they can play some defense.
Well, when you watch Countdown this week, I guarantee you that our guys will do a piece on them because they deserve to be talked about.
Dante Hall is deep. 6 career kickoff return touchdowns, tied for the best in NFL history with Gale Sayers, Mel Gray, Ollie Matson, and Travis Williams. Not going to get one here, I don't believe. Just got a great block, and who knows? Fumbled the ball. The Chiefs have it.
Texans almost created another opportunity for themselves.
C.C. Brown knocked it away, and it looked like Chris Bober made the recovery.
Oh, he's got everybody chasing him. The Texans are all over him now. Can't get to him.
Look at this move.
Cannot get. Now he cuts up. Now he's in the open field. Unbelievable.
C.C. Brown, number 24, knocks the ball out, and Bober gets it back. But, you know, you get to running so fast sometimes you forget about the football.
So the Chiefs are out all the way to the 49 on the kickoff return, and we're very fortunate to keep the ball. Johnson gets 6 on what is going to be the last play of the quarter. Lewis Sanders comes up to make a tackle. So on the last play, apparently the third quarter, it's the first time Kansas City has crossed midfield in the third period. And that's it. End of the quarter. Houston hanging around. They're within 14 against Kansas City. Houston, Texas, beautiful Reliant Stadium. The Texans down by 2 touchdowns, and Kansas City driving here starting the fourth quarter.
Some of our camera guys are leaving early.
Camera guy, that's our producer and director.
Yeah, we're on our own.
That's them. What do you want to do now,
quit.
Mike?
They don't leave.
What would you like to talk about?
I want to talk about the fourth quarter.
It's here.
2nd and 4 for Kansas City. Johnson.
Larry Johnson has carried the ball 24 times for about 148 yards. But the most important thing about watching him run is just keep your eye on number 27 as they're talking here. 76 yards of it has been after he's made contact with a defensive player. And if you don't tackle this guy and try to, with both hands, he's going to hurt you because he loves to run at you. And what I've been waiting on, and we heard so much about him, is his great speed if he gets into the secondary and no one's around. We saw the touchdown, but he was never really like flat out.
3rd and about 1.5. Johnson has the first down and more. Inside the 35. First down, Kansas City.
Joe, that stop he makes a stop.
It's a hesitation. I mean, he's developed his own running style, and he's running in traffic. That's the thing. Again, we talked about Priest Holmes being a perimeter style runner. Look at the yards, 87 yards, 14 carries right at the middle of the Houston Texan defense. And so many of those yards after contact, he makes that, but he also has guys making yards after he just flat misses them.
And just about everybody's got a shot at a career high against this defense on the ground. They are number 32 in the NFL. Johnson with a cutback. And you just wouldn't think you'd be that good running the ball against the 34, especially at Dom Capers' 34. He has had great defense.
Yeah, but what makes a difference is a Casey Wegman at center, a Will Shields at the right guard position. You know, we've talked about this. Is it the running back or is it the offensive line? That's always sort of been the argument about the Denver Broncos, who have run the ball so well. And in the past couple of years, the Atlanta Falcons, who've run the ball so well.
You know, the thing about him is he's not tired. I'm sorry, but he's not. You look at his eyes, you look at his face, he's not breathing hard. Yeah. Just walking up steps.
I just noticed that.
Johnson, nice cut to the left, and another one for a couple down to the 23. Now, this would be very deflating for the Texans if they allow this drive to continue and they give up a touchdown on it.
Especially with Larry Johnson running the ball. Now, they just picked up another first down, and if they just keep handing him the ball, because he really doesn't get tired. He's carried the ball 27 times, averaging 6 yards a carry,
which is a whole yard higher than he normally averages.
Well, what did you say at the beginning of the game? He was going to get 25 or 30 carries in this one?
He may get more than that now. But the thing about it is Houston's been working on him, just stopping him. Oh, wait a minute.
Green, and that should be a hold. This one is going to come.